Welcome to this presentation on cognitive approaches and specifically the foundations of the co-op model. After this lesson, you should be able to articulate the theoretical foundation of cognitive approaches, describe the purpose and objectives of the co-op model, and apply key features of the co-op model during intervention sessions. The theoretical foundations of cognitive approaches stem from the work of Vygotsky and Luria. Vygotsky believed that cognitive development occurred through the gradual internalization of concepts and relationships. For example, young children talk out loud as they work through a task, and older children tend to think through a task internally before acting. He viewed learning as being embedded in social and cultural contexts and emphasized the importance of cooperative dialogues between the adult and children in the learning process. He stated that children need to be actively engaged in the learning and developmental processes. Along with that, Vygotsky also developed the concept of the zone of proximal development, which is the range of skills that the child can achieve through social interactions with a more competent and skilled individual. Each stage of a child's development is characterized by different modes of social interactions. In therapy, you'll hear this idea referred to as scaffolding. Luria was a developmental psychologist who believed that a child's development could not just be explained through a natural inborn process, but rather that development is a complex and dynamic relationship between many different factors. Luria felt that individuals problem solve and learn new concepts through 5 steps: the discovery of the problem, investigation of the problem, selection of an alternate strategy, attempting to solve the problem, and comparison of the result to the solution. Children tend to verbalize each step as they're learning a new skill and then move towards mentally rehearsing the steps of an activity. There are several different cognitive approaches that can be used in practice, but the one we're going to focus on in this presentation and the one that was focused on in your reading for the week is co-op, which stands for Cognitive Orientation to Daily Occupational Performance. It's a client-centered, performance-based problem-solving approach that enables skill acquisition through a process of strategy use and guided discovery. It was originally developed for children with developmental coordination disorder or dyspraxia, but has also been applied to some other populations as well. The primary objective of co-op is to support occupational performance through skill acquisition. The second objective is to teach the child how to use cognitive strategies to achieve their goals. Through intervention, the child learns problem-solving strategies that enable them to discover and identify specific strategies that will support their performance. The third objective is to facilitate generalization of the occupation to other settings, and the final objective is for the child to transfer what they've learned to other occupations. In regards to the prerequisites to using this model, in order for an OT to use the co-op model in practice, the OT needs to utilize a child-centered philosophy and be skilled in activity analysis. The therapist must possess effective communication and behavior management skills and have a solid understanding of learning theory. For the child to benefit from a co-op approach in therapy, only 3 skills should be focused on at one time. The child needs to have enough expressive and receptive language to indicate choices and verbalize strategies. Because the child will need to draw on cognitive skills, they need to be able to attend to and understand the therapist as well. In addition, for the co-op model to be used successfully, the family must be committed and willing to learn from the model as well. If the therapist and child and family meet these prerequisites, co-op would definitely be a good approach to consider utilizing in practice. Now let's talk about the key features of co-op. The first key feature of using co-op is that the therapist collaborates with the child and family to identify their goals and the occupations they want to address. The second feature is dynamic performance analysis, which means that the OT needs to analyze the child performing the identified occupations and then identify the performance problems, as well as examine the fit between the client, occupation, and environmental demands and supports. The third feature is the use of cognitive strategies that are used to support skill acquisition, generalization, and transfer. Under the guidance of the OT, the child will use cognitive strategies to problem solve a performance issue and monitor the outcome. The global cognitive strategy used in co-op is the goal, plan, do, check method. It's a mnemonic that children learn to use during therapy to identify what they want to do, plan how they're going to do it, actually do it, and then check how things went. The fourth feature is guided discovery. It's a process in which the learner is helped to identify how to problem solve and then given hints, coaching, feedback, and modeling. The fifth feature of co-op includes the 4 enabling principles, which are to make the session fun, focus on promoting learning, work towards the goal being more independent, or work towards the child being more independent, and promote generalization and transfer of skills. The sixth key feature of co-op is the parent or caregiver involvement, which, like I mentioned on the last slide, is key to the success of this intervention. Lastly, therapy using a co-op approach typically spans 10 intervention sessions. And here you can kind of see the intervention format when using the co-op model. Intervention usually occurs 1 to 2 times a week, and the session begins with the preparation phase in which the child identifies the goal they want to work on that session. And then the child is guided through the plan and do phase in which skill acquisition is the focus. And the session wraps up with the verification phase in which the child checks how the plan went. So that's the overview of the co-op model. I found a great video with some examples of co-op in use during therapy sessions, and there's a link to the video in the online activities on Canvas this week. I feel that those couple of examples can provide you a really good visual of how to set up an intervention using the co-op method and how it flows. So be sure to check out that video after you finish this presentation. Thanks so much.